I hope when you get away from this place, you'll be mad. I want you to get so mad because you don't do nothing until you're mad. You got to be angry enough to change. Matter of fact, the prison is filled with authors. The jails are jam-packed with great leaders. I've discovered something, that God doesn't care what you've done if you're willing to do what He wants you to do. Matter of fact, you are more concerned with what you've done than God is. Who cares if you're divorced? Divorce is an event. Go on and live. Who cares if you had an abortion? An abortion is a tragedy, but it's an event. It occurred. Now get on and live. Abortion is murder, isn't it? So is killing a man and burying him in the sand. You see, it's after your tragedy that God does the greatest work. That's why if you fail, it's because you decided not to succeed. If you lose, it's because you decided not to win. You must be like Paul. Forget what's behind. Now, I don't believe anything lives with us more than our past. It is always there. It haunts us if we let it. It's like a shadow that's always ready to pounce upon our future. To many of us, our past is a constant threat to the dream in our heart. Many spend time visiting their past. They have no time to go into their future. Most people live in their past and they never enter their future. Others allow their past to hold them back so they can't go toward their future. And then there are those who just live their past, constantly reliving what they did. How sad. How are we as individuals supposed to deal and look at our past? How are we supposed to do that? How do we let our past go forever? This session we're dealing with is the key to living your future. And the key to living your future is letting go of your past. If you don't let your past go, you'll never live your future. There are many of our past that control our present, and it actually imprisons our future. We are locked by what we did, and we cannot go into what we could do. First of all, fear not. What do people fear the most? That they will repeat their failure. That's why businessmen don't go back to business when they fail. That's why students who fail in the first math test believe they're not mathematically inclined. That's why people who fail at maybe starting some project and it doesn't work refuse to start it again. We fear our failures. You see, your past failure is not guaranteed that you will fail again. It's simply opportunity to learn from your own mistake. You will not be ashamed. In other words, shame is not a permanent condition. Please write that down. You will fail. Every successful person in life failed at something, and I'm one of them. And I will fail even more in the future. Which is to say, a person who understands life is not afraid of failure, because they understand that failure is a part of success. Say that with me. Failure is a part of success. Just say it loud so you can hear yourself say it. Come on. Failure is a part of success. One more time. Failure is a part of success. You never said that before. That's why you shouldn't be afraid of failure. It's a part of the components that make success happen. You see, God is able to say to us, don't be afraid. Why? You will not be ashamed. Because being ashamed is when you decide to maintain your failure. But when you see failure as an opportunity to begin again, then you see it simply as a temporary experience. You know, one of the greatest things I've discovered is that you never grow in good times. You never really progress until you're under pressure. Matter of fact, 99% of the changes in a human life takes place because they had to change. If there's no pressure, there's no progress. Stay with me. If there's no pressure, there's no progress. It is pressure that brings progress. Most of what you've done so far in life is because you had to do it. Some of you moved to this state to work. Why? Because you couldn't find a job in the last one. Some of you moved and lived in another area. Why? Because the pressure of crime or something. In other words, pressure makes you progress. And if you never experience failure, if you never experience what I call failure is actually the test of your resolve. If you don't have your resolve tested, then your resolution will have no gravity. In other words, when you promise to do something, life will test the promise. When you decide to do something, God has built into life the test to make sure that you are serious about it. You see, people who quit after the first failure never wanted to succeed in the first place. Think about it. You cannot stop a man who decides to win. People who succeed are not interested in winning. They can't do anything else but win. When you're going to be effective in life, you've got to decide that between you and life, there's going to be an agreement. You're going to live it. Life will not live you. You're going to live life. How many of you are ready to live life? We'll tell you something about life, though. If you're going to live life, life has everything in it God has planned for your life. Life has it in it, but you got to take it from life. Life doesn't give you stuff. You got to go and get it. And life is like Goliath. It's always threatening you every morning. Come and get me. And life calls you names like lazy, slow. It calls you afraid or timid. You got to prove life wrong. You see, people who fail decided to fail. Nobody fails without their own decision. Hope you're listening to these things. That's why God never accepted anybody in Scripture as a failure. When he met Gideon in that threshing floor, Gideon had all the things figured out. I am the least of my family. I'm the black sheep of my family. I have no influence in the clan. I am a nobody, and here comes God, mighty man of valor. Now, how can you say that to a coward? This guy's already decided I'm a coward. God says, you're a mighty warrior. It's amazing how God contradicts our own conclusions about ourselves. And I hope he keeps doing it too. Aren't you glad he does that? Yeah. Now, what do you think causes people to be depressed more than their past? Nothing. It's what you experience that depresses you. I mean, maybe you were a victim of incest, and it happened 20 years ago. And 20 years later, you are still depressed by that experience. And that was an event, not a life. Write this down. Never confuse your behavior with your worth. Secondly, never confuse your experience with your worth. You are worth more than what you experienced, and you are worth more than what you've done. Your behaviors and your experiences must never be confused with your value. I'll give you an example. If I have in my hand right now a $1 million diamond, genuine $1 million diamond, and I take it and I throw it in the mud in a pigsty, does that diamond lose value? Is it still $1 million diamond? Yes. In other words, the mud and the pigs does not devalue the diamond. As a matter of fact, the pig just gained value. It is now in the presence of what? $1 million. You might be born into the ghetto, into the lowest hick town in Pennsylvania, where nobody knows anything about anybody. But it doesn't matter where you were born. The fact is that you were born there. You make it important. That's why many of you, they come here to see me. Some of them ask directions to find this place. Now, yeah. But you see, it is the value of the thing that makes it important, not what happens to it. So if you are a victim of incest, you must now forget. Decide to forget. And you do that by looking to your future. You know, you can drown your memories out by being too busy with your future. Some people are so preoccupied with what happened to them that ain't nothing happening to them. Some people are so committed to keeping alive that which is dead that they are not living. Memories don't go away, you send them away. Yes, you've been abused. Yes, you've been beaten by your husband. Yes, you've been robbed of your virginity. Yes, you've done this and yes, you've done that. God says now decide to forget it. You see, the reason why you can forget is because you can be so busy creating new memories, it's easy to forget. You must will to forget. Let me tell you how I know that a person forgot their past. They are able to use it. You are not free from your past until you can use it. Your past is conquered when you can use it as a testimony. Until you can take what happened to you and use it as an illustration, you are not free from it. You know, people who deny their past are not free from it. They are imprisoned by it. That is why we don't move forward. Because we allow the past to trap us in our youth. You will forget the past and the shame of your youth. Then he says, and remember no more the reproach. You know, reproach has to do with a sense of shame, a sense of guilt, a sense of feeling that you are not worthy. He says, forget what you felt, because what you felt is not true. You know, the problem with forgetting is remembering. That's why we got to use our memories in a way that we will forget. You use your memories as testimonies, and then you forget the validity of your memories. How many people that you know actually have settled down and built a house in their past? Every time you see them, then you bring up memories constantly. And there are people who live this way and they never move out of the past and begin to live their future. In other words, God has a dream for your life. And the dream God has for your life is confronted by the nightmare of what you did. God says, I'm going to forget this nightmare for my own sake. What is God's sake? His sake is the dream that he has for your life. So he forgets your past because he wants your future more than your past. He's more committed to what you were born to do than what you've done. That is why God is such a good God, because he doesn't hold our past against our future. Some of you came to this seminar and you have some dreams that you still haven't accomplished. And some of the reasons why you haven't gone is because you are afraid, you are ashamed, and you literally are threatened by your own failure. Can you take God's command? The iniquities I will remember no more. You know, there's an amazing power in the now. There's even a more amazing power in but. I was an alcoholic, but I was a D student in school, but I had a divorce, but you know, what separates your future and your past?